Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of
Israel Unleashed. Welcome back.
I want to talk today about Rosh Hashanah.
Please.
It's one of the important holidays in Judaism. All the holidays are important, but not all of us know that on this day we are being judged for the deeds we done for the last year, and it is all the world, all the humanity and animals are judged in this day, and according to the trial, this is what expects us, the punishment or the reward on the next year or years ahead. So it is important to constantly to improve our ways, especially before Rosh Hashanah.
Okay.
Not to consider this day like an ordinary day, but to understand that we are, I heard that once the new year was another nation was also on September. Like September Russians, before they had their new year on January, they had it on September. So it's like Rosh Hashanah.
Okay.
Original.
It could be
like something 300 years ago, something like this, understand?
No, it could be because of the Gregorian calendar or whatever like that. That's
maybe also, but I feel like it's connected.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk to you about improving our ways. How we can be better people. Well, first of all, I heard an interesting slogan, an interesting sentence, that a man is someone who understands where is the best, where he's most needed. Someone who understands it. So I try to look at my deeds, where I invest my powers according to the sentence. For example, like last month, and it helps me to be more with my family, because how come I became a father of two of those children, not the father of my friends? Because God apparently wants me there.
Okay.
So and also my children are a continuation of myself.
True.
Okay. Why it hurts me so much if someone wants to threaten my children or do something to them, because it's part of myself.
Right.
It is my future me.
Right.
And how can a person agrees to die someday? Because he understands when his children are alive, is he continuing to living in this world.
Yeah, they're carrying on.
They carrying, yes,
What you give them.
what you giving them, and also they are part of you.
Exactly.
So to try to be a good father, it's something that I understand the most needed in this life, being a good parent. And as trying of being a good parent, I try to show them the real values of this world, not to go after money,
Right.
not to be jealous of other people.
Right.
Look only on your own deeds, not to be happy when someone else is worse than you.
I mean, honestly, this is the blueprint of life. This is what God's word was, you know what I'm saying? To try to live just like that. And, you see how hard it is to live for people to live like that.
It's so hard to educate to that.
That's
It's
true.
so hard to live.
Well, you got other
Like
powers that are working against this, you know what I mean? And it's trying to misguide people, you know what I mean?
They try to misguide people. They try to show my children and our way to live, sometimes they wanted me to live this way, and I decided that what they show on TV on the fields, it's a big lie.
True.
And now they try, when they don't succeed to influence on you, they understand influence on your another generation,
Right.
or on your new you, on your children. So when I see people on TV try to show how sex is important, how money is important, how violence is important, how to be strong is important, how to look good is important, how to make other people jealous you, it's important. I'm trying to ruin those buildings that TV is trying to teach my children and show them other way. And it is interesting to see the conflict inside of my children when they tell me what they saw, and I'm telling them the other way. It's constantly a conflict.
It's a big conflict.
It's also a conflict between me and my wife. Like she also influenced by the people who succeeded in life and have a good jobs, big money, award in the society, and I'm trying to ruin all of that, because if you take a person and take his what he has in life, he stays only him. It's only him, and in the eyes of God, we are all the same, So
Yeah, if you ask me, in my opinion,
Yes.
I think people who really don't believe in God or follow God, they have a lot. I don't want to say they have an easier life. It's that they kind of get different things than you, because we already know what's going to happen to them, probably. You know what I'm saying?
we can guess.
The people who actually suffer and go through pain and stuff and having to deal with life and face life head on, and want it to be simple and follow how you want to follow it, tend to pay more. You know what I'm saying? Because you're showing. Well, it's like you have to look at it like you're showing your parents that that I'm like you, but I'm trying to better myself from your mistakes or something like, because you and me, we make a lot of mistakes.
Of course.
And your children see the kind of mistakes you and me make, and your child tends to try to prove himself. You know what I'm saying? He wants to get that. There's that ultimate thing, like pat him on the back and you're okay, you're right. You know what I'm saying? There's just a couple words your children want to hear sometimes, because it gives them
But yes,
a comfort that they they look for.
yes, they want to be understood by me, and I understand this need, and I try to supply them this need to be understood by me and to be open with me about their ideas. But I'm talking that we have religious people who are beside faith and religion also believe in this kind of success, of this devil success, who ruins all our society.
Sure.
And it's not easy of being someone who feels that this is mistake. If let's say it about education, I believe that a child should let's work in order to success in school, in order that he will feel okay about himself, not in order to have a good grade and good diploma and good job after that. No. He has to fulfill the assignments in order to be self-disciplined, in order to understand that you have things in life that you have to do, not in order to succeed, not in order, because the success and the failure is something that God does to you.
I got you.
And if you, like me, like I try to be a good student in order to please my parents, it's a mistake. It's a big mistake.
Definitely.
Big mistake. In order to be loved and respected and understood, I had to do something that I hated.
Right.
So
I find it interesting. You know, you're a child and stuff, and you're in school, and you're meeting all sorts of other kids, and you have this uncomfortableness, and you want to fit in, and you want to go with the flow, and you don't want people to make fun of you or be one of those people that look like a loser or a nerd or whatever, because you have people bully the shit out of people at school and stuff. But as a child, you're going out of your way, literally, to go fit in and be a part of the flow and go with it. You know what I mean? And then when you get to a certain age in life, you're like, you realize you don't care what people think or what you don't really care anymore. You know what I'm saying? You come to a point where all right, fine. I'm done pleasing people. I'm doing what I need to do.
You understand it after all. But you ask yourself, how come most of my life was like pleasing others?
True.
So
I mean, I listen to a lot of music, for example, and sometimes you hear people who write songs about like themselves and the kind of triumphs and tribulations and pain and suffering that they've gone through and stuff like that. Like there's certain music that, this is what makes this. You know what I'm saying? That kind of music, the way but I think it takes a lot for a person to express openly to everybody. Because music's pretty much a worldwide thing. That it's played on the radio and in videos. When they can approach something about themselves and talk about their situation and how they were ridiculed or what they had to go through it, or what I'm saying. It takes a lot of courage. You know what I mean? And when you can approach that kind of stuff and have confidence in yourself to say how you think and how you believe and you don't really care what other people think or what
It's not about not being caring about what other people think. It's maybe you can care about what other people think, but not in order to please them. If someone like that thinks about me that I'm not okay, I'm worried about his critics, but not in order to please him.
Yeah, but you see how society sets standards and stuff like that. A model, she needs to be skinny, she needs to look like she have bones sticking out. I mean, like in sex, you have to look a certain way in order for people to want you. I mean, society sets restrictions and tends to give trends to people and stuff like that. This is how you should perceive life, and really, life is really not like that. You know what I'm saying? When you come to a point, you realize life's not really like that. Like this is what society and people who don't really care and are ungodly and stuff like that that they think this is how they think. They don't want you to know what the truth is. They want you to follow them because it's a good way of life and that's how it should be, and this is the standard that they set. But it takes a strong person to have faith in himself and believe in himself and push himself forward to do what he needs to do, and if he has children, to teach his children to be just like
also
him.
that in this world.
It takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage and stuff like that, and and it's not an easy task. Especially when it comes to children. Your children have their own mind of thinking, and a lot of times they get to a point where they want to rebel with you. You know what I'm saying?
I heard that this rebellion thing is it's a re-evaluation of a person. Till then, you as a parent tell him what to do, and in this age of the rebel, he starts to reevaluate what you said to him and understand the world from his point of view. And this is the point where he doesn't want to do what you told him, but he questions your ideas. And he's right.
That's true. No, you have a lot of people what they call themselves millennials and shit like that. And they think everything they do and everything they say and how they think is the way it should be. And you're looking at it like, really? I come from a different generation and we didn't think like that whatsoever. And they look like idiots to them, but we look like idiots to them. We aren't on the same page. We don't think the same and stuff like that. But they believe that because society's put them in a certain position in life and power, that it's okay to think like that. And then they think they're the intellectual people of society when they're not. I mean, there's more than one time someone's told me that, you should just give up this and do that, and it will change everything, and life should be good. And really, there's already been facts on the ground or certain things that have happened that have shown that way of thinking is not right. You know what I mean? It's like one time I had a guy who asked me about Israel and stuff like that, and why don't we just give the Palestinians this, and why don't we do that? I mean, really? People have been sitting around, I'm telling the guy, but people have been sitting around for almost 100 years, intellectuals, professors, all sorts of shit, thinking about how we can make peace with these people, and it's been so unsuccessful, but we come to the point where we realize they don't want peace with us. It's easier for them to destroy us because of what they believe in and stuff, and this is what the path that they choose. That's, you know. But I mean, like, you know, we've given up land. We've given up Gaza. We've given up places in the Golan and along the border to Lebanon and stuff, and it hasn't brought 1 ounce of peace.
Yes.
And even with the neighbors that we do have peace with, it's not a peace that you think that, like, it's a merry and we're all happy and everything's going smoothly. It's not. There's still friction and there's still problems and there's still things that are going on today that's proven, the facts on the ground. You know, it's not how you think.
You're right.
You know what I mean? You can't
Our
get people.
conflict is another thing, and a different conflict.
I use that as an example because somebody asked me about that. But you know, what I mean, like, you know, what I mean, a lot of times giving into somebody is not such a good thing. You know what I mean?
No, standing for your own values and protecting them is the right way.
Yeah.
In our example.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, society is turning a lot of that on. Like,
When you say
they're
society,
they're turning it around and putting it on you, like, you know, like you're all, you know, you and me are like obsolete. You know, I mean, it's like we're living in our children's world today. I mean, like they think we're outdated and stuff. They're like, you know, we've lived life and stuff like that, and not, you know, give us a try and we'll try to make it better. I mean, like, this is the kind of thinking that, like, is basically on the ground these days. You know what I'm saying? And this is what people are trying to say. You know what I mean? And realize that they have no idea what they're fucking talking about. I mean, I understand where they're coming from and why they want to think things because they think differently than you and I. But I mean, you know, I mean, I don't want to say it hasn't been tried. It's been tried. It's just, it wasn't termed in the terminology like you have it today. A lot of the stuff's been repeated over and over, and it's been said over and over and done over and over, and I mean, it's like, you know, there's a whole big thing about critical race theory and stuff like that.
Yes.
And this is a term that I was reading about that, like, you know, that was they called it critical theory back in the 30s and stuff like that. And this is where the whole idea of critical race theory even comes from. So I mean, like, you know, there are certain, like, things that people talk about today and that I feel that I should educate myself on, to kind of get a bigger picture about, like, really what are they talking about? You know, I mean, what does this mean, and, like, you know, I mean, why are they trying to do it? You know what I mean? So I try to educate myself and try to understand, like, what it is, and then I come across articles where they talk about this kind of stuff,
And what they're saying?
and they're saying, like, you know, I mean, that we live in a society where, like, we're slaves, and it's set up that way so we can be slaves, and we're submissive or submitted to the people who are in charge, and you know, I mean, like, there's no point to really work anymore. I mean, like, this is like, you know, this is like what grounds of socialism was in the 30s and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, socialism and stuff like that was invented by two Jewish guys. I think if I read correctly, they were from France.
Germany.
One was from Germany, I think, and the other one was from France or something like that. But I don't remember their names and whatever.
I think it's Karl Marx who invented communism. But they continue.
No, Karl Marx invented Marxism.
Marxism, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what a lot of you're seeing today. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, you know. I mean, not technically, to tell you the truth, I mean, yeah, World War II was almost 80 years ago and stuff like that, but the thought of thinking from that moment hasn't really changed. It's evolved.
Yes.
In a way.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are like, oh, it's so new, and it's like a big trend.
And it's not new.
Fast thing, and it's not new whatsoever. A lot of what we think and what we know is either from hundreds of years ago or within the last 100 years. You know what I'm saying?
Just because we are relatively young,
yeah,
we tend to understand those things as new.
Exactly.
But it's not new.
Well, the funny thing is that, like, you know, people don't believe that you should have facts anymore. They mean nothing. But I mean, the facts mean everything. When you know facts, you've educated yourself, and you know where it came from, and you know what the story is, and how to prepare yourself in how to argue with somebody or know what's right and wrong. Yeah.
Not to have facts, it's not to be yourself.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not to be yourself. And those people who don't feel the need of being with the facts is the kind of people who are hypnotized by people like Hitler,
Right.
Those who choose not to think.
This is why they still support Hitler and what
there is a connection.
what his motion was to do.
There is a connection between not having the facts
Right.
and being not smart and ignorant, like you said, and do all kinds of mean things, like support Palestinians in UN, like being anti-Jew, like being a pedophile,
Exactly.
It's all of those things are connected between this and not having an opinion.
Right.
All of these are connected, not being the facts. So, being a smart person, admire facts, admire self-opinion. This is the right choice.
I agree. I find it interesting with what's going on around us, and I'm reading an article like today in the paper how the UN's meeting and about how we're bombing ammunition dumps of Hezbollah and Iran and all this stuff in Iran, and they want to put sanctions on us because of this, and I'm like telling myself, I'm looking at the situation going on in Afghanistan, for example, and I'm like how terrorism's taken over, and Iran's pretty much a terrorist state. They've been doing terrorism since '79, and been so under the radar that they become professional at it that people outside who don't pay attention to the news don't see it or pay attention. They look at them as nice guys, and they're an evil fucking regime. Just ask anybody who's from Iran that's left that place how it really is. They'll tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at how people sit and think about things and stuff, and how they look at us as we're the bad guys. And in our reality, we're trying to defend ourselves, man. These people want to use all this against us and to blow up the country and kill everybody who lives here. I mean, and they're sanctioning us for bombing these places. It's a threat to world security. I mean, I'm serious. It's a threat to our security. We're a small country. They just want to start dumping rockets and missiles and bombs and nuclear weapons on us. I mean, they're going to kill us all. And this is what they talk about doing us daily, but nobody says anything about it. You know what I mean? Iran, for example, has been talking about wiping us out since 1979. I mean, wiping us out isn't like a genocide or a Holocaust. I mean, honestly, because they haven't done it yet, thank God. I mean, this is what wiping somebody out really stands for.
God keep us from them. We are praying, and
God.
God provides us help. And we live a little help from our army. Altogether, we are managed to survive somehow. But I think that if we encourage people all around the world to use their heads instead of not using heads and minds, we may lead them to a better world.
This is kind of our job, is put light upon the world.
This is what we are doing on our show.
Yeah.
To enlighten everybody.
You have a lot of people a lot of things happen, they don't say a word, and
Either
you
they
hear what the other
desperate.
side says, but you hear nothing from us. It's a dead silence. When you and me get together, we love to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yes, we are
I'm all about shining a light on the world and making it a better place. I mean, I don't want to hear people talk about destroying people or people hating one another. It serves no purpose, and it gets us nowhere in life. You know what I mean?
I saw about some. I saw on a Russian show that one brave woman decided to. There was something written against Jews.
Okay.
In the street in Moscow. I don't remember exactly what city.
Yeah.
So she decided to erase it, and there was a little bomb inside of them.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes, and she went blind. because of this bomb, and they made a surgery in Israel for her. And this is the example of a brave person who decided to do the right choice in spite of all what all our people would go around looking on the written things against Jews and do nothing. She decided to do a brave thing.
Good for her.
She paid the price.
She paid the price, though.
But for me, she deserves the reward. She deserves to get my respect. You know?
It's definitely something to pray for.
Yes, of course. And she's okay by now.
Good.
Yes.
That's impressive. Yeah, but the amount of injustice that people do to one another and how they want to go by it and whatever, and the hatred that actually comes from it. I mean, today it seems worse than it's ever been. You know what I mean?
But you know, God is running the world, and He's expecting us not to be desperate about those things, to keep our faith, and continue to enlighten people,
Which is
not
important.
to lose our hope.
It's definitely important.
It's like the song of the singer from United States, from 80s.
The ocean.
No, Living on the Faith.
Oh,
Bon Jovi, yes.
Bon Jovi, okay.
Like his song.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
There you go. No, it was called Living on a Prayer. No, I know.
Living on a Prayer, okay.
That is true.
Okay.
There we go.
This is the only way we got. Why in Judaism they're saying that being happy, it's a big mitzvah. I thought about this. What if being happy was something natural? It wasn't a mitzvah because it was the largest standard. It's here. Kid, it's here on the sofa. If you hadn't do the hard way to make yourself happy, it would be understood. It would be taken for granted to be happy.
No, but happy.
If it's
When
a
you're
large-
happy, you're content. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everything's perfect. Everything's the way it needs
No,
to be.
it's this is the what I wanted to renew
Okay.
to our watchers.
Okay.
That our reality is not exactly good.
No.
Okay.
Right.
And staying happy inside of this reality, it's a real challenge, and you should work on that to stay happy. Staying happy is to accept that God is the only one who is running the world, and that everything somehow will be okay. But also we have to stay good people, do right things in spite of the fact that it's hard. Became staying open-minded and seeking for the facts and using our mind, not to be stupid and follow stupid leaders and mean people, but be really use all our things that God gave us, like our head, our logic, to being inside of the society who doesn't believe in hope and go to false values like to become a rich and success and all those things. It's a big life of the snake, you know.
That's true. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to rise above the bullshit. You know what I mean?
But I believe. I heard one smart Jew told me like something like, I spoke to him and I asked him how can you manage to stay calm in those events that we are going through, like with the vaccines and all the tryings of our lovers to eliminate us. And he told me I always try to focus that God leads me. God is with me, even if I'm in hell, He is with me.
Which is most important.
Yes.
Have this way of thinking, and let
Yes.
him, like I always say, man, let him do the driving, man. Just lay back.
I think He wants
it's
more from you than leaning back.
He obviously wants more from you and whatever, but I mean,
Yes, but
it's a theory of like you're letting him guide you and give
but
you
not
faith.
to be worried. You're right. I'm 100% with you. Not to be worried. He's the world is in His hands. I'm there. So I think it's important to you to hear me saying those things between the Judgment Day, Rosh Hashanah, when all of you, our watchers, our non-Jews watchers and Jews watchers, will go through without knowing. So I expect from you, I don't expect from you nothing, you are my friends, but I call all of us to continue to improve our ways.
Amen.
Yes. And God, hopefully, we will go through the trial and we win the trial and we receive our life in the new year. In spite of all the wishes of our enemies, and we will survive, and we will come and we will live this next year with a life with a good energies, and all the women who is pregnant will give birth, and all the pregnant women will stay pregnant. And all the humankind will be smarter and kinder, and also me and you. Hopefully, our life will improve. Maybe not from material way, but from spiritual way. Somehow. Material way also.
It's like I spoke to a friend today, and it's like I told him I'm Mazal Tov to him, and I'm blessed for him, and I'm proud of him, and I wish the best for him, and hopefully he receives my blessings and stuff like that. I mean, if you can give that to somebody that you know and you love, or somebody who needs it right then and there, I mean, you're doing a great mitzvah.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we need more people like that. Even if it's saying good morning to somebody in the morning, and and moving.
A smile to him.
Yeah, you never know you're going to affect that person, man. It's important to affect people in a positive way and go for a positive vibration, man.
Yes.
And let people know how blessed they are. It's important. So hopefully, with the holidays coming up, we can be forgiven, we can be praised, we can be blessed, we can be forgiven, and move forward and make the world a better place.
Amen.
Amen. Until the next time, on Israel Unleashed.
On Israel Unleashed, bye everybody, and
We'll see you soon.
we'll see you soon. Thank you.